Hi, I'm Mark from Groupable, and today we're going to go over how you handle what we call a dual request for membership. And this is something where the person has already joined an equivalent organization to yours outside somewhere else in the world. And you recognize that organization, you're going to let that person join your local group without going through the whole initiation process or whatever it is that you do to make that person a member, because they've already done that elsewhere and you recognize it. Some people call this a dual membership, a foreign affiliation, a plural affiliation. It has different names, but the concept is they went through the process someplace else and now they're either transferring in or they're taking a dual or plural membership in your organization. I'm going to go over this from the perspective of the group level users, the people who manage the database as a whole. I'm going to show you what the locals do, how you manage that, how you backfill history, and how you go through the process of making the person a member of the local within your organization, within your group. Okay, I am now logged in as the secretary of a local group. And you might call this a lodge, chapter, whatever. Local grouping, groupable speak. So now we're going to start out by adding a contact to this local. That's on the members and others panel. And I go to the menu and I say add new member / person. And I'm just going to give it a John Doe. And we'll say the person is the guy and he's born on 01/01/2000. And the secretary can only add people to their local groups. That's the only one on the list here. And pretend that the person's in Detroit. Yeah, we'll select United States. And we'll do Michigan. And the postal code, I don't really know what the postal code is, but we'll put that in. Now we do require, most of our organizations require at least a cell phone or a landline phone. And it is always good to get an email address for people. So I'm going to go ahead and click add, and this creates a contact. And remember, this is the way that we start every record in the database, whether it's foreign or domestic. Someone joining the local always starts out as an active contact. That's how they start. Now, if they're an active contact, you'll notice here that we have this button here for request dual foreign membership verification. So the secretary goes ahead and clicks that. And they want to tell you, well, what foreign group are they coming in from? And we'll pretend that this person's coming in from Colorado and they know the name of the local that they belong to in Colorado. It's Blackhawk. And we can put some notes in. We ask them if you know the foreign member number, any dates, any information, just put it in here. If they have documentation, if they can take a picture of a dues card, a member profile, a PDF file of the member's history in that organization, anything that they have, they can drag and drop those documents onto this button and add it to the dual membership verification request. So I'm going to go ahead and submit this now. And now the secretary has requested the dual membership verification. And you'll see here that the person is dual pending, and they're going to show up in a queue for you where you're going to be able to manage these. So now we're going to go take a look at what you as a group user, how you manage those. Okay, now I'm logged in as a group level user with my administrative, and we have added this new action items panel here in the upper right hand corner. And the first thing on here, or will be in this list, is the pending dual memberships. And if I click on that, that's going to take me to the list of dual memberships that are pending. On here, you will see I've got my John Doe, and I can click on that and I can view his member profile. You can see that here. From here, if he has a dual membership requesting in process, I can actually look at that and see. I can edit it, I can approve it, I can deny it right from here. Also, back on the list, I can edit it, I can approve it, I can deny it. I also have the expanded one to view it and bring it out. If there are any documents there, I could click those and view those documents, see those things that are there. Now, typically at this point, you'd be communicating with the other organization to verify the person's credentials. Are they who they say they are? Are they a member? Are they a member in good standing? Are they eligible to join your organization based upon their prior membership in the other organization? And once you've done all that and you found them to be appropriate, you can go ahead and approve it by clicking the checkbox or opening it up and clicking the approve. You can also, if they aren't eligible, you can click the exclamation mark here and deny it. You could also open it up and click the deny button here, and that will mark the person that their dual request was denied. So I'm going to go ahead and approve this and say that yes, this person is eligible for membership. And you notice they're not on the list anymore. They've gone to the recently approved. So now here, I'm going to go to the record. Now I'm looking at the member record. And one thing you want to see here is that all of this is controlled using lifecycle event. That full first dual requested, that is what made the person dual pending. The dual approved, if I go up here, you're going to see that they're dual approved now. They can actually join the organization now, but now we need to backfill the information on what they did in the other organization. Like particularly this one is a Masonic model. We're going to build that out now. And that's the next step we're going to take. Okay, here we are on that member's record, and we're going to build out the history now. As you can see, his group status for us is dual approved, and his group member type is a contact. And at the local level, we can see that he's a contact and that he is dual approved at the local level. But now we need to backfill that history from the other organization. So I'm going to go to the timeline and click the plus sign. And this is a Masonic model that we're using. They have 3 events. They get initiated, they get passed, and they get raised. And those are the critical ones that we're going to put in here. So on the list here, I've got initiated in with a new group. And you notice I have that in the deprecated section because this is something that we only use to build out an event history for a historical record. So I'm going to click that. And the local, remember, said he was in Black Hawk in Colorado. So here's Black Hawk 11 in Colorado. I'm going to select that off the list. And we're going to pretend that this member was initiated in January 1st of 2020. And we're going to go ahead and add that event into the database. And we're going to see here that that actually adds his affiliation with Black Hawk in the Grand Lodge of Colorado, creates that event, and he is still a dual approved contact in our database. If I slide down here and open up the timeline and to add an event, we'll see that his group type status, this is his status across all or equivalent organizations based upon the data that we have. We can see for Blue Lodge, he is an entered apprentice who is active. But remember in ours, he's still a contact who's dual approved. So I'm going to put in the events to move him through the rest of the process. So the next one he has is passed in Black Hawk 11. And let's pretend he did that on the 2nd of January in 2020. And I'm going to add that. And then we're going to raise him. Go down here again, click the plus sign, and we're going to raise him in Black Hawk. And the date will be, let's do 01/03/2020. And click add, and that adds him there. So now we see that he is initiated, passed, and raised in Black Hawk. And he's got that dual requested and dual approved here in our local organization for Silva 216. So that is how we build out the rest of the information about this member. And we could even get more complicated. Let's say that he was demitted from that Black Hawk 11 and he demitted, let's say, in January 1 of 2021. I can put that in, and then let's say he got reinstated there. I could also go and put that in, that he was restored in Black Hawk 11. Let's say he did that in 01/01 of 2023, let's say, so that he's back in good standing in Black Hawk. And you see, you can build out all the member histories that you need to for this person, including even if they joined yet another equivalent group, you can also do that. So let's say that after this, he also joined, and that is, let's see here, it is affiliated in with a new group. Let's say he also joined a lodge in Kansas. Let's see if I have Albert Pike, let's say, in Kansas. Albert Pike 303 in Kansas, he joined that. Let's say he joined that on 01/01 of 2021. I can add that in. And as you'll see here, when we come back and look at his record here, he has that membership in Colorado, the membership in Kansas. We have the full event history of everything that has happened to him, when those things happened. And now we're ready, because we've built the whole thing out and it's dual approved, for the secretary to take the next action to have him actually become a member of the local Silva 216. Okay, now I am logged in as the secretary of the local group who put in the dual request that's been approved. And if I go to that person's dashboard, you'll see here that on the right-hand side in their action items, if they have an approved dual member request, it's going to show right here that they have one. They can click that, and that will bring up the list of them. And they can click the person, and that'll bring up the member record. Now, making the person a member of the local is a matter of adding the appropriate event that makes them a member. In our case, that's an elected event. They're getting elected to membership in this local group. So I scroll down to the plus sign on the timeline, click that, and in here I'm going to see elected for Silva 216, which is the local that I am the secretary of right now. I click that and I can put in the date. Let's just say that it is 11/9/2023. I go ahead and click add on that. And now in my local group, the person is active, in this case, a Master Mason, which is the full member type for this type of local group. And this person is now a member of my group. And if I go to the main dashboard and I search in my main members, I'm going to find John Doe. And that is the one right there. That's the one that we just put through. And you'll see he's got Silva 216, Black Hawk in Colorado, Albert Pike in Kansas, all of the different member events that he has here. You'll see the dual requested, dual approved, the elected. They happen to all stack up on the same day because I've put them in that way, but they could be in a different order. As far as date, elected is typically going to happen after those events get put in. But that's the whole life cycle from start to finish of creating the contact. The parent group goes through the process, builds out the history, approves it, and then the local secretary does the event that makes them a member of the local group. This is a little bit of an addendum for some of our longtime users of our system. And I just wanted to go over why we changed the process for doing these dual or foreign members. In the classic system that we used to have called Mori, we required the local secretary to put in a lot of information to kick off the process for getting a dual member approved. This is the old entry screen that we used to have, as compared to the new one, which is basically a couple fields. What group is it? What's the local? Some notes, and put a document on it if you have it. The reason we did this is that this form was honestly pretty hard for a lot of our members to work through, the secretaries. The other thing is that we have transitioned to where everything that we do is event driven. The events in foreigns, the events in the domestic locals, all of them are treated and handled on an equal basis, on an equal level. So the other thing is that some of the things here could be difficult. Like we have in this particular example, a member coming in from was Black Hawk Lodge in Colorado. So the old form used to require putting in the foreign membership. Where did they belong? So I'm going to try and click this here and do this. Let's say that they're coming in from Colorado. I select that. I don't know their jail number, but I got to find the lodge. And this might be one of the first hurdles that the secretary trying to do this is going to hit. So I type in black, find Blackhawk. And Blackhawk is not in the database because this particular jurisdiction doesn't have anybody who's ever joined from Blackhawk. So the lodge is not in the system for the secretary to even select it to start the process. That makes it really hard to do this stuff. So we're just going to take a different lodge and we're going to kind of step through and show you how to use it. So we will take this one here. And I'm going to fill that in and add that as we work through this process here. So now I've got that. And we used to ask the secretaries to fill out what are all the events? What were all those things that made the member go through the process in the other organization? And the problem with that is a lot of times the information that the secretary had wasn't accurate. The most accurate authority for that is to contact the other organization and get a member profile for them that has the official dates and the official information about what the history for that member is. So that's one of the reasons that probably the primary reason, that we've gone to this simpler, more streamlined system that we use now, where you create the request and then you communicate with that other group, that foreign group, get the information. You backfill it like we did, where we put in the initiated past raise, the information for Colorado, the information from Kansas. We got all that information all put in so that we had it all put together. You approve it, and then the local group then does the election. We think that this is a much simpler, more streamlined way for you to manage it. You have your queue. Remember, when you're logged in, I'm logged into the secretary right now, but on that main board, you can go to all of your pending members in the action items and work those to make sure that they get moved through the process. We hope you enjoy using the new functionality that we've built out. We've put a lot of thought into it. And if you have any questions about it, remember to contact support@groupable.com. We're happy to talk through you with it, to do any training that you need to understand more fully how this process works.